Hello, I'm Lann.
And I'm Lydia, and welcome to SpecialAF.
Today we've got another very special guest with us. Who are you?
Hello, my name is Samuel Turner. Nice to meet you all at SpecialAF.
Thanks for coming on the show, Sam.
My pleasure.
Now, Samuel, I know you're a member of Carmarthenshire People First.
Yeah, that's correct.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, to begin with, I have autism and ADHD, but I'm proud to have autism and ADHD since 1996.
Is that when you were born, Samuel?
Yeah, that's the year I was born. I was born originally from East London, but I'm phrased from my hometown, originally in Essex, born in a decade before moving to Carmarthenshire in 2019 in September, where my family had a lovely family retirement. And ever since getting to recognise a little bit of scenarios around Wales, I found there were lots of friendly people around the society that can understand me.
Is it very different living in Wales compared to growing up in Essex?
Differences to one parts of Essex to the rest of most parts of around Carmarthenshire. Well, the only parts I'm getting to recognise is those are aware about the form of any various needs that could be recognised and understood with to most people. I think what I meant by that was I wanted everyone to understand me for me rather than just not to use me for someone else, for example.
Right.
I think that's the difference of the in particularly Essex, because at one time when I was originally phrased in Essex, soon after I was born from East London, I had a really challenging scenarios in advance from my original childhood life, and I didn't able to learn how to talk until I was at the age of 8.
Right.
And that was a really tricky scenario when I was originally in Essex when I couldn't able to talk. I was a struggler, and I was having ways to struggle how to communicate to most people, like my parents, for example, and my PAs.
Do you remember being unable to talk?
Well, last time, before I did about to talk, the old days when I wasn't able to communicate with talking positions was to grab my parents' attention by grabbing them to show them what I wanted. Okay. It was a tricky scenario in that experience. I know how terrible that was, and since I keep doing it every single occasion when I wanted something or needed something, it let my parents down. And then I feel like, to my personal experience, it looked like to me it's as I betrayed my family as a result of it.
That's sad. I wouldn't.
That sounds harsh to me.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't see it as you letting them down, Samuel. But it must have been frustrating for you not being able to communicate, exactly what you wanted.
It was a genuine challenging advanced scenario for me. When it would have been a tricky part when, if I did ever wanted to talk, I wish that it could be more better for my parents more than just for me, because old saying says families are so important rather than just sometimes friends.
Yeah, of course.
There are other ways, and you found them to communicate with your family, though, because they know you best. Sometimes we don't always use words, do we?
No. Sometimes having something like, for example, a silent treatment can be a challenge, but having a promise to communicate with alongside the silent treatment is another, especially if you're on the verge of having the various needs, such as autism in particular. Because at one time, considering that I was unable to talk until I was at the age of 8, I keep trying to pronouncing words, but couldn't figure it out. But by the time I was at the age of 8, a few years later on, I was able to try to pronounce a post office sign saying Royal Mail. In my old phrase, I'll call it Louis Brown.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was that was when I was able to learn the pronunciations when I was younger. Yeah. But now it's Royal Mail. I get the meaning of it today, so I hope I won't get hard done by for causing confusion to the post office. Not one day when they knock on the door, when I got posted on the post step.
Sure
but frequently, I love talking because old days when my mum was having problems, she did said that if she wanted to win the lottery, she wanted hopefully the best for me.
Yes,
and now I'm able to talk. She's still an inspirational mother today, my mum Jackie, in other words. And my mum's a very, very strongest lady of all, and I had to say, without my mum, I wasn't able to be myself again.
I think your family's very important to you, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think that's
as
really
well as my
clear.
dad as well, so if I had to forget him as well. But although sometimes he might be a funny dad, but frequently most of the time when he's not himself, as according to my recent ITV Wales news report, I called him Lady on the television in 2020.
How did he feel about that, Samuel?
He giggled.
Yeah, good. That's good.
Yeah.
So if we go back, when you started talking, had something changed, or what?
I didn't know how to get used to being in the position to be prompt with something with one another, and I didn't know what to think next or how to learn how to communicate.
Right.
Because in my periods, in the past, in other words, I found that having a communication was new to me when I started talking. I didn't know how to figure out at some point. So I tried to explain some things in my personal ways to show them what I wanted to show them, which was an ongoing efforts in progress since I was 8. But nowadays, since I was able to communicate, I'm proud of what I'm always achieving, all the way up to the point where I was at a specialist school. The first one was Beacon Hill, which is based in South Ockenden, Essex.
Yep.
And at first it was alright, but then again it was a confusing situation. But towards the end of my period, I had some photo shots of me presenting myself like I'm doing the position to present my lovely things I love best.
Okay.
Even when I'm out and about. But that was rare. Really rare that I normally do go out in playgrounds, because of lack of communications was more tricky.
Did you find it hard mixing with other kids?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except one of them who I really would like to promote, but I can't identify the name.
Okay.
She had cerebral palsy and lovely, kind expressions, but with her cheeky positions in the other. She was a very special princess to me, and if it hadn't been for my mum, I would have got to know the new school I was at and a friend who I met at the school. Her name was similar to me, of course, almost. But one thing I found cool about her, the car manners was known to my best friend at the time. And without treating from my mum, I wasn't able to know her since with her kind manners. And that was how I got the kind manners from her. And as I was heading towards getting to know my confidence to recognise my best friend, she tragically passed away with swine flu and pneumonia on the 8th of December 2009.
That's very sad.
And in my opinion, is that if it hadn't been for this person, she was kind before me. So that's how I got my confidence back, to helping to get my ways of being kind and helpful and respectful to many people out there.
And she was an inspiration, I guess.
Yeah, she was before me,
And very important to you, obviously.
It was important awareness. She was a very inspiring person. She had a lovely family, and she has a wonderful sister. And even though she's up in heaven, she's got a lovely family who are still growing from the heart up in heaven, from the to the bottom of the kingdom of earth as well. But what I love about being in an inspiration when I communicate is that I'm presenting you important achievements to show how unique skills can be achieved when you're having different creations of your own ability.
Well, something that's very impressive, Samuel. You said when you were younger, you couldn't talk till you were 8. You had real difficulty communicating, and that was frustrating.
It was.
And I know myself that when you're autistic, I get, particularly when I'm frustrated, that's when I'm most likely to sort of shut down or have a meltdown, and then you feel even more frustrated. But despite that, communication has become what you're brilliant at.
it certainly was a common achievement because of the fact that although I might be an unusual person, but I'm not here to disappoint everyone with my personal epic achievements around me, because the power I want to present, like others who have the form of special needs and autism and ADHD in particular, is the achievement, a power and a voice, because the common sense doesn't mean anything to others. That's the message I want to show, that common sense is important to everybody, especially if you have autism and ADHD in the other.
Yeah. So as part of your becoming brilliant at communicating, you have written 2 books.
Yep. Well, to begin with at first, before I was an author, I did used to also be a filmmaker as well, who made incredible, inspiring stories. And I did used to be a filmmaker since I was 11 years old. And ever since being a filmmaker, I won most awards, such as the World's International Film Festival, and made certain appearances on the Southern Sea Film Festival based in Essex. And I made inspiring stories such as charitable videos and inspiring stories about the world, such as the Referendum Day of Gibraltar.
Right.
Okay.
And these are one of those examples. And now back onto the point when I was an author. When it came to the pandemic period, I started writing the story about my love story experience.
Okay.
Although today we split it up in 2023, it didn't disappoint me for being an author today. So what I did from that experience during the pandemic, I decided to think about writing a story, and that was known as the Autistic Side of Love, as everyone may recognise. It got very popular to everyone's hearts, and also got recognised by Buckingham Palace too. Yeah, and even though I don't mind the splitting, it didn't stop me there, because further on in June 2025, I then wanted to show the achievements of myself more than just showing what unique people are explaining in certain sense in the story. And that was called Treetops, a special school that changed my life.
That's your second book. Can I just ask you about
Yeah.
this first one? So
Yeah,
the
of course you
Autistic
can.
Side of Love. How old were you when you wrote this, Samuel?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. It's so big and small again. I think I was perhaps 26.
And you
I think.
I mean, you've done all this. You did the illustrations in it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done all the illustrations, all the designs and the creations, and it was self-published via Amazon Kindle.
Okay.
And it's also available on Kindle devices for £4.50 if anyone's asking too much.
And what
Cheeky
prompted you? As a cheeky plug. What prompted you to write this? What did you want to communicate to people? What that you thought people should know about being autistic and falling in love?
Well, it doesn't matter if you haven't got a condition to find love in the future. It can happen to anyone who wants to find love in the future with special needs, autism, and other various needs. Doesn't matter about who you are and what you're presenting. All that matters is you're showing your kindness and loving passion that many people in certain society and all around the world that deserve to be loved in the future. And I think what I meant that was everyone in the whole society, such as us with autism, should deserve to be loved by someone who they care for the most.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You think there's somebody out there
For all of us.
Well,
for everyone?
Well, I don't know about who, but the future will be holding for me in the future. But even though I did broke up with my ex, she can wake up and smell the coffee. But the great thing about this book, it doesn't have to be about a true story. It can be any reliability of showing the achievements of how you're grown up from your experience to find love, and how you're passionate to write a story that can raise the acceptance about autism in the future.
Okay, cool.
So the people that read your book,
Yeah.
what's the main thing? What's the message that you'd like them to take away from that?
Well, from my personal point of view, it's a decision that everyone can make whether they they learn how to find love when you have autism or not.
Okay.
And it's quite important thing really, because everyone in society always says that the whole society can be cruel. But when you find someone from the light at the end of the tunnel, there's always love in the sea. That's what my mum said to me at this point when it came to writing this book. But then when it came to someone who wants to find someone for you, I think this book would be a good important for them to get, because it's such an incredible and amazing story, and it used to be loved by the recognition, as I said earlier, by the Buckingham Palace, including the late Queen Elizabeth II.
Wow,
that's cool.
And it was in fact a get well present soon after I wished her a happy Easter as a get well present, because at the time before her passed, she had I think it was COVID at the time,
right?
And what I did was I wished her a massive recovery by making her an Easter card,
right,
with unusual Easter bunny impression on the front of the card. And she loved it, and she sent a letter saying thank you for your wonderful message.
Oh, nice.
And in fact, I got 3 letters from Buckingham Palace today.
Wow.
2 from the Queen Elizabeth II, who passed on, but the unusual King Charles III,
right,
who's also obsessed with the book too.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't had anything from Buckingham Palace.
No, I think they should work on that, frankly.
Yeah, I think they should get in
We haven't had 1 letter, never mind 3.
Okay. Sam, earlier on in your life, you attended a school called Treetops.
That's correct.
Talk a little bit about that?
Well, the whole story started when before I was a student, my mum was a full-time chef, catering somewhere in the school unit, based at an old specialist school educational department known as Treetop School.
Right.
It was a special school presented by many people who have various educational needs, which are basically students.
So,
and then,
sorry.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt you, but the good thing I love about this school is that it wasn't until 2005 when I started there as a student. And ever since, I didn't know how to learn a bit more about educational side of things. And that was tricky, yeah?
Sorry, Samuel, if I can interrupt you.
Of course,
your
no
second book is all about Treetops. It's called Treetops, a specialist school that changed my life.
Yes, that's the book I made as an honorary member today.
And this is a much longer book than your first one, and it's really quite personal. You go into some quite difficult subjects about things that you found challenging, and you're very honest.
Yeah, exactly.
You're very honest about things that happened and difficulties you had, and how you overcame them and how the school helped you. Do you think it's important to be, like, you're so open about your experiences, do you think it's important for people like us who you know, whether you're autistic or you have ADHD, to speak openly about the difficult side of things as well?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm honoured to be sharing the fact that you could be proud of what you're achieving since your old school periods, to share your story to everybody. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be in regards about cerebral palsy, dyslexia, or any of various needs like autism and ADHD with special needs. What I'm aiming to present is that how much that school clearly meant a lot to me if it hadn't been for not just the school's help, but with the fact that I had lots of problems and tough, challenging scenarios, and had problem getting along with the conversation with other various students around me. It was a tricky scenario in advance. But thank you to Mummy. If it hadn't been for my mum, I would have got the confidence to be thankful to appreciate the school's efforts they provided me for as a student.
And how did you cope with, because it was a big change moving schools, I imagine. And how did you cope with changing and starting at Treetops?
Well, to begin with, since I left Biggin Hill School, I now about to participate at a special school in Grays, Essex, from Dover at first. And at first, when I was a student, I didn't know how to get the confidence to be concentrating in my certain sense. But there's also a VB department, which is basically short for verbal behavioural children's department, which is an independent classroom for those who are living on the verge of verbal behaviour issues.
Right.
I was originally there at that time, and I maintained my confidence to grow out my problems. And then I thought at the end, when I left the VB department before starting sixth form in 2013, I know how terrible I was, and I gradually wanted to get the confidence back into my heart again.
Right.
And then that's what I did at the end.
Well, excellent. What a success story.
Well, the successful part of the story is that I want to share the message to everyone in the whole of society that everyone should be proud of what you're proving, since you're a student and a former student today. And it's not only the fact that I was a former student. In 2013, by the time I was 27 at the time, on the 19th of September, I got promoted a voluntary role as an honorary member for the Friends of Street of Schools Charitable Trust Department, where they have help for everyone that needs supplies such as sensory toys and other various equipment that the school definitely needs.
Okay. Right.
Not just for the school itself, but for the sixth form departments, the libraries, and the free school department and the learning community. Okay. And the special part of that story is that the fact that I recently unveiled a classroom dedicated to my surname in 2024.
Cool. The Turner classroom.
That's it. You guessed it. Yeah. It was a very special moment with this book, and it shows you the little insights about how I got to unveil the classroom for the first time to the whole staff and teachers around me, and it gives the importance to show that what you're doing to raise the achievements and how much you're growing in progress throughout your achievements. Because when the pandemic started, the whole life at treetop schools outside the school was so intense. People had to face isolated scenarios, and the school had to face closures for good, which I believe that it did resulted in some concern of financial issues.
Right.
So what I'm aiming to do is, today in Carmarthenshire, not only as a former student, but to help the school in a personal method. And that method was to present my recipes and homemade creations as part of my charitable stall known as the Autistic Baker market stall.
I want to ask you about that in just a second.
So, no worries,
you found that Treetops really helped you, and you obviously worked really, really hard.
I did.
And I'm guessing you wanted to give something back.
I want to give something back to the school as a thank you present, rather than just being an honorary student. No, sorry. We take that, an honorary member of the Charitable Trust today.
I get you. And let's talk to the bit I'm very interested about.
Oh, thank you.
Which is your baking.
I'm glad you know that, to answer about that question about my cooking methods, big and small, for the third time. The great thing I'm proud of being a baker, which is with regards to my autism, it may sound a bit surreal, because many people think that person they think they can't do cooking in that sort of technique, but you can in the other. And of course, it's not just the jam itself. I also do marmalades and ginger marmalades. Excuse my French, but I also do. I also do homemade muffins, and it's not just the foods I also sell at my market store as part of the Autistic Baker. I also give away my 2 books I'm presenting for the show, which is Treetops, a special school that changed my life, and the Autistic Side of Love. And I also sign my signature as well for everyone who's interested to know how clever that people with autism can do certain things in life, rather than just presenting your market stall.
Yeah.
How do you pick your recipes, Sam? Do you do sort of like trial and error. You try things out, and the things you think are super delicious, that's what you do.
I do normally do slight researches on how to do the ingredients correctly. It's just to make sure I'm not a plonker in the oven. Because otherwise, I think I don't mind everyone asking me for a refund afterwards.
Yeah.
But the great thing about why I love to do research is because the reason for that is I want to show how intelligent I can learn by looking at things, with like looking at the ingredients, and then how to focus on the temperature and focusing on timing with patience.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on when you're baking.
Yeah, I mean, for example, when I was 29 today, since last Friday, I made a Victoria sponge laid cake with buttercream and jam, and covered over with a lovely Welsh flag icing design.
I feel
Sounds
like
good.
you know when our dog is watching us eat dinner.
Yeah.
Have buttercream.
Where's mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the great thing about why I'm proud to be an autistic baker alongside my other hobbies is that I want to show it doesn't matter what achievements you have. All that matters, you've got the power to show your achievements and your perfect, honest, and expressive achievements ahead of you.
Nice.
That's why autistic people around the corner aren't nuts.
Indeed, absolutely. If someone was thinking about starting their own project like the Autistic Baker, but weren't sure where to start, what would you be able to give them one piece of advice to help them get going?
Well, I'm glad you have been asking this question so big and small for the final time. For anyone who has the problems to show your achievements, such as your talent, don't. Everyone has the entitlement to do their personal talents, and it can be sometimes a challenging experience to you. And the good thing about your experience, don't give up on your confidence. Just be you, be natural, and be the powerful person that you want to show your own personal epic achievements ahead of you and your family.
Cool. So you've
Thanks,
got Samuel, you've written 2 books, you've made films, you won the Jury's Prize Welsh Short Documentary 2019 at the Welsh International Film Festival for your film about fundraising for Cerebro.
Yeah, that's correct, yes.
Yep. You won the Pride of Britain Fundraiser of the Year Award in Wales in
Yay,
2020.
my trophy! Sorry.
And you also can bake like a dream. What's next for Samuel Turner?
Well, I don't have dreams about what I'm improving, but the thing about me is that it doesn't matter if I'm a wonky donkey to my parents or call my dad lazy or sometimes be a funny man to one another. All I'm generally wanted to share the message across that anyone are proud of what your personal achievements has reached towards the end of the tunnel. And my future for me is hoping for the best for racy acceptance to overseas and beyond.
Okay,
Like
so you're spreading your message worldwide. Is that what?
Yes, spreading the message to anyone who doesn't know anything in regards about what's happening today for those who are under the influence or under the act of specialist needs like autism and ADHD.
Okay.
That's the most important power message I want to present. But with my autism itself, I always love my autism. How I can tell I often want to present my autism acceptances. I always carry my National Autistic Society badge on me behind my album.
A badge of honour.
Yeah, and the badge of honour to present. Doesn't matter if I want to explain it, but I want to explain it silently, like silent witnesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Sam, do you get tired? Like, you seem to be such a busy guy, and I can tell just by being near you that you have lots and lots of energy and drive and an amazing attitude to life. But do you have times when you're, I suppose, tired and you need to recharge your batteries?
Well, it's a good thing you asked that question. Anytime I do feel tired, I always try and explain it to my parents, except when I do have my tea, for example, or dinner.
Right.
But the good thing about me having some time to relax can be an important thing for others with specialist needs and autism. Because the longer you recharge your batteries and not to wake up and smell the coffee next, all that matters, you feel a bit happy again afterwards.
Yeah.
As long as the parents could tell it one day instead of acting like £1 fishing around the corner. But one thing I love about recharging my batteries is that it doesn't matter if my voice has run out of its energy or breath. All that matters, I hope I didn't wake everyone up from a few hours later.
So what do you do to relax?
Well, to relax, I like watching TV, watching some unusual, funny moments on TV, and just to get my strength back in position for the next step.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you could go back in time and give little Samuel some advice, what would you say to him?
Well, my unusual younger me, to never give up on what you brought me up today. Just go with the flow, be patient and have the confidence around you. You could do it like I did today. That's my personal message about me. Because the important thing about when I was young, I didn't think how I could handle it until now. But longer the patience has been lesser increased to what you're about to achieve in the future. All it clearly matters is that I love being the person who I want to be today.
That's fabulous. You come a long way.
Yeah, I come a long way because from that younger times, I was different because of the lack of communication skills and my behaviour issues, everything like that until I was in treetops. Boom, it's gone.
So it was treetops that were important for you learning how to speak.
Yeah.
So it was when you went there that you began to be more verbal?
It was to that point in that scenario of events because at first when I didn't think how to handle my behaviour problems from the side effects for the autism, they think there's an obstacle around your brain that's inflicting you to flip out at once. But then again, when I was learning how to get the confidence back, I ignored the obstacles by avoiding it.
Okay.
That's the way I do things to protect my acceptance with autism.
So you go around the obstacle.
Yeah, instead of going through it, because the longer you get the obstacles out of your way, the prouder, happier you are.
Because you're making progress.
Yeah, by making a massive effort and progress, and give the effort an inspiring meaning.
Samuel, do you think there's going to be more books or films in your future?
I don't know about books just yet because of personal side of things.
Sure.
But with filmmaking, I'm gradually getting back into it soon. Because the moment that I want to get the achievements out, the more calmer it gets you in progress to maintain the standards of how I want to create stories like films and other various videos I want to create.
Okay. I can tell you have high standards.
God bless you, Lann. That means a lot.
Thank you. Well, I think we could have sat here all day and chatted. It's been so interesting.
God bless you, Lann.
Thank you so
It's my
much.
absolute pleasure, Lann and Lydia. God
Thank
bless you
you.
all, and thank you very
Lovely to
much
see
for
you.
your kind support and the lovely invite.
Thank you. And thank you for watching SpecialAF or listening wherever you are. We hope to see you on our next episode. In the meantime, if you'd like to check out our website, you can find out more about us and what we're up to and how you can get involved.
Goodbye.